Good morning. Please join in while we sing to get started.
Good morning and welcome to First Unitarian Portland, whether you're here in our sanctuary or online in our virtual sanctuary. We are a multi-generational community where each one of us is invited to grow in spirit and to grow our collective capacity to build the beloved community. I have a few important announcements to share with you. The holidays must be upon us because there is a lot of activity. A special welcome to our visitors. If you're here for the first time, there's going to be a welcoming circle right over here with Jen Thomas, our membership engagement coordinator. It'll be an opportunity to find out more about us and how to get engaged, and then Jen will help you find your way to our coffee hour. And if you are amongst those looking to make some first connections, we also have an activity today with some food following the service as well in Buchanan. We have an update from our Sharing Our Hearts campaign. Within 1 month, we raised 80% of our goal, which is a wonderful thing. It also means that we still have 20% to go. So I know that some of you may make decisions about your pledging for 2024 in the month of December, and that is just fine. But do let us know as soon as possible, and there are links in this week's e-blast where you can join the campaign or even make a one-time gift to the campaign. And pledging at all levels makes a difference. And a group of us are enthusiastic to actually start to make some phone calls to folks who might want to have a conversation about giving. So if you enjoy those phone calls, then, take your time. I actually enjoy those phone calls. It's a fun way to get to know people. But if you don't enjoy those phone calls, then I would say today is your opportunity to help us fill the remaining 20%, which is critical to fully fund our budget for the year ahead. There are 3 opportunities following today's service. We have a collective letter writing effort in Fuller Hall. We are calling on President Biden, Secretary of State Blinken, and members of Congress to work for a ceasefire, the return of hostages, and all parties to abide by international law, including the laws of war. There are letters and envelopes ready for anyone who feels moved to send letters following the service. You can come to the drop-in session in B101 to learn more about the changes to our UUA's principles and purposes. There have been some changes made, and the latest version was just published this week, so this is a chance to find out more about that. Today, the Trans Day of Remembrance service is happening at 4 o'clock at the Methodist congregation here downtown, and we invite everyone to come join with us over there. And lifting up Ember Wigmore, one of the members here in the congregation, has an incredible exhibit. Some people saw it yesterday, I know I did. It's going to travel over to the United Methodist Church, where you'll be able to see an incredible exhibit of the loss of folks who identify as trans and non-binary, as well as their allies. So let us hold one another on this challenging day in many ways. Coming soon, we have Advent services on Monday mornings on Zoom, a half an hour of renewal beginning November 27th. And there will also be 2 opportunities to learn about and experience a glimpse of what community circles will be like here on December 3rd and on Zoom on December 10th. All are welcome. Let us turn to our neighbors and share some of our hospitality. Reverend Tom Dishrud will light our chalice this morning. And if you're joining from home, I invite you to light a candle or chalice along with us. We are Unitarian Universalists. We light this chalice in faith, in hope, and in love.
Words for our call to worship today come from poet Ross Gay. If you find yourself half naked and barefoot in the frosty grass, hearing again the earth's great sonorous moan that says, "You are the air of the now and gone," that says all of you will turn to dust and will meet you there, do not raise your fist. Do not raise your small voice against it, and do not take cover. Instead, curl your toes into the grass, watch the cloud ascending from your lips, walk through the garden's dormant splendor, and say only, "Thank you, thank you." Let us sing together now, "Come, thou fount of every blessing." Responsive reading by Wisława Szymborska. Life is the only way to get covered in leaves, catch your breath on the sand, rise on wings. To be a dog or stroke its warm fur, to tell pain from everything it's not, to squeeze inside events, dawdle in views, to seek the least of all possible mistakes. An extraordinary chance to remember for a moment a conversation held with the lamp switched off, and if only once, to stumble on a stone, end up drenched in one downpour or another. Mislay your keys in the grass, and to follow a spark on the wind with your eyes, and to keep on not knowing something important. Let's sing together now our doxology, Spirit of Life.
Spirit
Today, we share our plate with Hygiene for All, a hygiene hub for unsheltered residents of Portland's Central and East Side. H4A's team of sheltered and unsheltered staff has designed a place of community safety that offers an effective, healing response to the public health and sanitation brought by growing housing, wealth, and infrastructure gaps. H4A has offered First Unitarian considerable guidance and support as we establish our 13 Salmon Shower Project. We are grateful for their presence in the community and their commitment to expanding access to hygiene services because, as they say, everyone deserves to feel clean. If you'd like to donate via check or cash, our ushers will be coming around in just one moment. If you'd like to give electronically, you can find the QR code on the screen and also on the yellow slips in one of the racks in front of you. If you're on Boxcast, you can use the Donate Now button. Thank you for your generosity. It makes a difference. We have one parish concern to share today, and I want to invite you to know that you can leave your prayers in either of the galleries, or you can send your prayers to us during the week. Our ministers and lay ministers do read them and hold you in our prayers, and some we share here in our Sunday service. We are holding our teachers and our students and our parents, some of whom are also teachers during this time of strike. May teaching and mentoring be valued, be uplifted in our community, and may our students' learning about justice unfold in this time. And may our parents be given upswells of patience and creativity and all the things needed in this time. Will you pray with me? Spirit of life, remind us that each one is a reflection of divinity, that in each one of us is the capacity for creation. In this time of acts of aggression and wars, and on this Trans Day of Remembrance, teach us to resist any impulse to other or destroy, with words that try to ban some of us out of existence, with weapons that snuff out life, whether one human being or mass casualties, with any act that diminishes the fullness of the beloved community. For that is what each one of us is, a holy spark of the divine. And when we are able to flourish and thrive, no matter where we are born, when we are able to call ourselves by our true names and participate in the act of creating the fullness of who we are and are becoming, when we are capable of binding with others in countless acts of healing, creation, and recreation, we embody a love that cannot be stopped, is unfettered, unbound, and liberating. We embolden a vision of the world where no one is outside of love's reach, and we enliven the calling of our faith and our time to heal what is broken, and to manifest a wholeness and holiness that is yearning to be. May each one, each holy spark know that we are blessed, that we are capable of offering great blessings. Amen. And may it be so, and blessed be one and all. I invite you into a time of sacred silence as we fill up the sanctuary with our meditations and prayers. let us sing together, Give Thanks. We have two readings to share. The first is The Kinship of Gratitude by Mark Nepo. The goal of all experience is to remove whatever might keep us from being whole. The things we learn through love and pain reduce our walls and bring out our inner and outer life together. And all the while, the friction of being alive erodes whatever impediments remain. But the simplest and deepest way to make who we are at one with the world is through the kinship of gratitude. Nothing brings the worlds of spirit and earth together more quickly. To be grateful means giving thanks for more than just the things we want, but also for the things that surmount our pride and stubbornness. Sometimes the things I've wanted and worked for, if I actually received them, would have crushed me. Sometimes just giving thanks for the mystery of it all brings everything and everyone closer, the way suction pulls streams of water together. So take a chance and openly give thanks, even if you're not sure what for, and feel the plenitude of all that is living brush up against your heart. Try to Praise the Mutilated World by Adam Zagajewski. Try to praise the mutilated world. Remember June's long days and wild strawberries, drops of wine, the dew, the nettles that methodically overgrow the abandoned homesteads of exiles. You must praise the mutilated world. You watched the stylish yachts and ships. One of them had a long trip ahead of it, while salty oblivion awaited others. You've seen the refugees headed nowhere. You've heard the executioners sing joyfully. You should praise the mutilated world. Remember the moments when we were together in a white room and the curtain fluttered. Return in thought to the concert where music flared. You gathered acorns in the park in autumn, and leaves eddied over the earth's scars. Praise the mutilated world, and the gray feather a thrush lost, and the gentle light that strays and vanishes and returns.
Has been broken, and yes, my life has been strained, but I tell you, in spite of everything I've been through, oh, I've gotta say thank you. God knows there have been times when I've been down. I've had my life turned completely around. But in spite of everything I've been through, oh, I've made up my mind, I'll say thank you. I'm thankful for the blessings, oh, in spite of my own mess, blessings, even right here in the middle of my test. Oh, for the blessings. I'm blessed right here in the middle of my test. Oh, for the blessings. In the midst of my test.
Thank you, Duro. Thank you, choir. Try to praise the mutilated world Our reading says this morning, "Try to praise the mutilated world." Those words speak to me in this Thanksgiving season. Now, I have to say that this is probably my favorite holiday because it is fundamentally about simply giving thanks. It was Meister Eckhart who said, if we only have one prayer to offer, it should be a prayer of gratitude. And I think that is most essentially what Thanksgiving is about, to offer thanks for all the blessings in our lives. And sometimes it isn't always easy to find that place of gratitude in this world that seems so very broken. With war and destruction happening in so many places around the world, with violence so very close to home, with hate seeming to be manifesting all over the place, and in particular coming from some of those elected into some of the highest offices in our land. As Reverend Allison mentioned today after the service, and later today, there will be a community interfaith recognition of Transgender Day of Remembrance, those transgender and non-binary siblings lost to violence and to hate. With so many living on our streets as the cold of winter settles in, and all of it in this larger context of global warming and all the fears that come with that about what our lives and our children's lives will be. No, friends, there is a lot to hold these days, and figuring out just where gratitude fits into the scheme of all of that, I think it can take some work. Of course, the truth may be that it is exactly in troubled times that we need to practice gratitude more than ever. Perhaps we should start by looking at the origins of this holiday. It was Abraham Lincoln who created Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving that we know today. And he did that during one of the worst years in our country's history. It was 1863, and the nation had already endured 2 years of civil war. More than 500,000 people had been killed, almost 15% of the country's population at that time. And at that point in the conflict, it wasn't clear what the outcome would be. And even if the North won, it wasn't exactly at all clear how some sense of wholeness could ever return. These are some of Lincoln's words at that time. "I do invite my fellow citizens to set apart and observe the last Thursday of November next as a day of thanksgiving, and I recommend they do also with humble penitence for our national perverseness and disobedience. Commend to God's tender care all those who have become widows or orphans or mourners or sufferers." In the reading by Mark Nepo that Reverend Allison shared earlier, he says that the goal of all experience is to remove whatever might keep us from being whole. His words, "The things we learn through love and pain reduce our walls and bring our inner and outer life together, and all the while the friction of being alive erodes whatever impediments remain." Perhaps part of the spiritual task is paying attention to where those impediments do remain in our lives. Sometimes in my life, I'm struck with a paradox. At the same time that I see so much that is broken with the world and so much that I don't know what to do with, at that very same time, I look at my life and I mostly see blessings. I'm blessed to have work that is good. I have so much more than I need. I'm blessed to have good people in my life. I have food and shelter in abundance. And with all of that, what does it mean to live in times when so much would indeed trouble? The Hebrew term for gratitude means recognizing the good. Practicing gratitude is about recognizing what is good in our lives, and even when we may be facing our share of things that are not so good. Times like these, in fact, may be the very times when we need to lean into gratitude, reminding ourselves of what we do have, the ways that our lives are blessed, and what all of that asks of us. I believe that it's through that expression of gratitude that we acknowledge our relationship with something larger, with the amazing creation that includes each and every one of us. Acknowledging what it is to be grateful for, what we have to be grateful for is perhaps one of the most important, one of the most essential things that we can do. And yes, maybe most of all, in the midst of a troubled world, are we asked to make a practice of gratitude part of our lives. So just what would a practice of gratitude look like? It could take a number of forms, but it would be something we do regularly as a way of staying in touch with ourselves, with those around us, and with whatever it is we identify as something larger. It's recognizing our dependence on others for what sustains us. It's recognizing over and over again how everything is connected, that the spiritual task is to make a space to hold all of that, the good as well as so much that troubles. It's in the very nature of it being a practice that we are able to make that space, no matter what it is we might be facing in our lives. Making it a practice means we're looking with intention. Making a practice of it means we keep at it. There are some things we need to be reminded of on a regular basis, on a daily basis, like how everything is interconnected. For all good or for ill, and for good or for ill, I think one of the lessons of these last years, including these years of pandemic, has brought a renewed awareness how just interrelated everything is, just how interdependent our lives are with everything else. Galen Gingrich is minister of All Souls Unitarian in New York, and he says this: gratitude has its basis in our awareness of all the things that have come our way from the people and the world around us. We begin with this inescapable reality that we are contingent creatures. We depend on our environment for everything that we need. We depend on the largesse of the natural world for our very existence. And we depend on the people around us for the quality of our ongoing lives. Without this natural world, we wouldn't have air to breathe, or water to drink, or food to eat. Another way Gingrich says it is that we are utterly dependent upon others for just about everything. We are individuals, yes, but our individual lives exist in a larger context. They are contingent on others, and perhaps that's where the spiritual tasks begins in that recognition of that interdependence. It begins with the recognition that we as individuals don't really amount to much outside of the relationships that we have with families and with communities, sometimes with people we don't even know. Our lives are utterly dependent on this good green earth. How does that food come to be at our tables? Who are the people whose labor makes that so? And what does that mean for the earth and for its resources? What is it that we need to live, and what is it that makes all of that possible? With that comes not only the recognition, but also the responsibility to act out of that awareness that relationship with others and with the earth. It isn't just about us, in other words. What are the choices we make, and what do our choices mean for others and for the earth? What is the responsibility that flows out of that recognition? Where is that place of gratitude? As an example, in our world, it can be hard to know just where most of our food does come from. In our world, so much of what is around us comes through some global supply chain that it's hard sometimes even to imagine. It's hard, almost impossible, to get to a place of being able to imagine where that particular thing came from and the people who made it or sacrificed, and probably it's coming to us at some low cost, and do we really think about that? It can be almost impossible to imagine the toll that any given thing has on the earth. There is much that would ask us to be mindful about what so much of what we have comes from, all of that we can take for granted. I think a spiritual practice of gratitude might begin with us asking about some more important questions about how it is, what it is we need, how much do we need, or the sacrifices that are asked of others and of the earth, to at least make space for much of the story that we may not be able to know. But still, for us, it's also to ask that question of what is asked of us in return. A spiritual practice asks a kind of discipline of us. It asks us to stay with even when it might be uncomfortable or when it isn't clear what exactly is our responsibility. It asks a kind of mindfulness about our interdependence. But it also is through that discipline that we might come to more fully recognize the many things we do have to be grateful for. All the things that bring us joy, like when we get covered in leaves or when we are with a dog that has been caught in a downpour. Whatever it is that helps us to know ourselves and helps us to recognize how it is we are part of all of life. Gratitude, I think, calls us to live in that place and to recognize how we are connected in ways we may not even always be able to recognize. The writer Daniel Schatz tells the story of getting to know author Phil Simmons, a college professor who was diagnosed with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. After that diagnosis, he went to live with his family near the White Mountains of New Hampshire, and he wrote a book about that time called Learning to Fall that was published now some years ago. So towards the end of his life, Phil began to receive a fair amount of attention for that book, and he frequently gave talks and interviews. He told the story of one radio interviewer who asked him to describe the highlights of his life since being diagnosed with ALS. Highlights, thought Phil, you've got to be kidding. But he answered as best he could, but it was only after he realized later what he should have said, and that was, getting my fingernails cut this morning. Getting my fingernails cut this morning. He explained, here was Susan, he said, my friend and nurse, trimming my nails as I sat warmed by the morning sun, reflecting off the snow-covered fields. My wife beside me, writing postcards and sipping coffee. If we're looking for what's sacred, what's holy, why look any further? The sacred world is before our eyes and in our nostrils and beneath our feet. What I should have said to the radio interviewer is, if you're looking for highlights, you may be missing your life. I think gratitude is living with the awareness of thankfulness for the whole of our lives. Gratitude, one writer says, is awareness of the great fullness of what is all around us. Our job then, I think, is to live in that awareness. The idea that we live moment to moment mindful of what it is we have to be grateful for. That every day, every moment is a gift, no matter where it is we find ourselves, and trying to give thanks. And the spiritual practice is what we can help us cultivate that awareness at any moment of our lives and how it all fits into some larger scheme of things. how it cultivates the awareness that we are not alone, how it cultivates the awareness of all the blessings that come to us from others, how it cultivates an awareness that no matter what, we are part of some much greater love that holds it all. Maybe we don't always find the right answer in the moment. Maybe it comes with time and with recognition that what we first need to simply do is be in this very moment that we have been given. When I find myself in somewhere when I feel stuck, it might be that I don't know quite what to do. It might be when I don't quite know what to say. It might be when I just feel overwhelmed with all that is in front of me. I try to take a moment and ask myself, in this moment, what is it that I have to be grateful for? Now, it doesn't make the problem go away. It doesn't make everything all right. But it does seem to put me back on course and put me in some larger perspective. It's been said that gratitude is the most elemental form of prayer. If you don't know where else to begin, then that may be the place to ask, where am I and what is it that I'm grateful for just in this moment, and nothing more and nothing less. Gratitude flows out of that recognition of our interdependence. It comes out of a recognition that we are not alone. It is an awareness in this moment that everything is connected and that we are part of that whole interrelationship. How we see our lives, how we look at the whole of what we've been given, is going to be different for each and every one of us. It is what we do with the stuff of our lives, how it is we do each make meaning, and in that process see our lives a little more fully, perhaps. It's not about what we receive or don't receive. I think it's about that awareness of relationships and how it is in everything that is connected that we are part of some much larger whole. More than anything else, it's finding meaning, and perhaps most of all, when we are in that place of despair, to remember that we are not isolated and alone. Words of poet David Whyte. Enough. These few words are enough. If not these words, this breath. If not this breath, this sitting here. This opening to the life we have refused again and again and again until now. Until now. From an early age, many of us are taught to say, please and thank you. Those lessons maybe start being first about manners, but I think as we go through life, they might also be the beginning of our most elemental spiritual practice. And practice is important in these times. There's much in the world and much around us that would ask us to show up first and then to ask how it is that we need to bear witness, to ask ourselves, how is it that I'm to be in relationship with myself and with others and with this world around me? How is it with my spirit? How is it with my soul? In this season of Thanksgiving, may we find our way to those answers, or at least to live with all the questions that those bring. Through it all, may we live with open and thankful and grateful hearts, and may that gratitude be a gateway to ever-widening circles of love and of hope and of joy as we live in the brokenness and in all of the beauty of this world. Blessed be, and amen. Let us sing together now, friends. It is well with my soul. Let's join together. On this day and in all the days to come, may it be well with your soul. As you go forth from this place today, remember that you are blessed, and remember to be a blessing. May you use your gifts to bless the world. This is the day we've been given. Let us rejoice in it and be glad. Go in peace. Practice love. Amen.